And great. I'm going to share the screen with you guys so you can all see it. Can you see my screen? Please confirm with thumbs up if you can
Yeah,
see.
I can see.
Ah, well, thank
Yes.
you. Great. Thank you, Enrique. Well, welcome back, my dearest students. Maybe you will be saying like, oh my gosh, no, why is Jake like with those thorns like he were a neville? But no, I mean, it's part of a class, okay? In today's session, we're going to work and discuss things related to this this thing. Maybe you might be guessing what the class is about. But well, let's get started, okay? For today's menu, Isa, can you read us what we're going to do in this class, please?
Today's menu: storytelling, DICTOGLOSS, practice, production, and exit ticket.
Absolutely right. Okay. So we're going to have a part that basically is my favorite one. Okay. We're going to have storytelling. Then we're going to do an activity that we haven't done before, and it's called DICTOGLOSS. Okay. In a minute, I will explain what is that. And then we're going to have some practice, and then you will produce by your own. Okay. And finally, well, we will have as usual or exit ticket. Let's get started. Isaac, can you read the two questions, please? It says story time. Or maybe Enrique, can you read the two questions there?
Yes, teacher. Have you ever seen a ghost? Have you ever experienced a paranormal situation?
Yeah,
Share your story.
exactly. Great. Thank you, Enrique. Okay, so I like to have a conversation with your partners, guys, and talk about these two questions. The first one, have you ever seen a ghost? It doesn't matter if you believe or not in those things. I like you to discuss about, okay? And if you consider that you haven't seen a ghost in your life, like no at all, well, try to talk about an experience that you have related to paranormal activity, okay? Like, oh, once upon a time, I was when I was a kid, I remember that I was in my grandma's house at 7 p.m. and we were alone, all the cousins and the grandma, but grandma was sleeping. And we we heard a noise in upstairs. So we wanted to find out what was happening because no one was there but our mom sleeping or our grandma sleeping. So it wasn't logical that something moved or something was moved by someone else because our grandma was sleeping, like I said. So we had to check, and then we discovered that like the whole our toys were disorganized, like they were moved. I remember that I had like a big box with Hot Wheels there, and they were like whole in the ground. And I mean there wasn't an explanation because all my cousins were downstairs. We were playing. I remember that we were playing this famous game. It's like the one that has like dots and you have to touch, like you move something and then like red, like you put your arm here and for example the other one here in green. I think it's what is the name of that game?
Twister.
Yeah, Twister. Thank you, Lily. That one we were playing that. So when we found out that our toys were like disorganized and all in the floor, we were like, oh my gosh, what is happening? So we started screaming, and my grandma was like, my gosh, what's happening, guys? Why are you awake? Why did you awaken me? And we were like, oh grandma, someone moved or or toys. And well, that's what I remember about like paranormal situations. But maybe I mean they weren't placed in a good surface of my um on my table of that moment, and maybe they just fell and I interpreted it as it was a paranormal activity situation. Maybe it wasn't, right? But I like you to speak like something like this with your partners, and well, then we will go back and you will tell us, okay, the most interesting one, okay. I like you to talk about the most interesting story you heard, okay. For example, Enrique and Lily, share yours and tell us, okay, I think that the most interesting one is this one because blah 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 blah. Okay, so both you going to have at least 2 minutes, only 2 minutes. Okay, don't take that long to share your experience about paranormal situations. Okay, so I'm going to open the breakout rooms and then I will be checking. 2 minutes to share yours. 2 minutes per person. Okay, so in total you have 5 minutes. Go. Oh my gosh. Let me see. Hi, Leslie.
Hi, teacher. Sorry, my phone died and I had to enter with my mom's phone.
Okay, okay, okay. It's okay. Don't worry. I mean, I'm going to call back your classmates in order to continue with the class. But well, I think you didn't have the opportunity to talk about paranormal situation that you've ever experienced, right? Have you ever experienced something like paranormal?
Not me, but a lot of my family has experienced it because they live in a little town.
Okay.
So usual because they lived in a place where they raise like cows and they grew corn and stuff like that. And
Like
they
in a
saw
farm or in the countryside?
in the countryside, yeah.
Okay,
And they saw a lot of stuff, and but it was more my familiars, not me.
yeah, okay, your relatives, right? It's okay. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for it because oh my gosh, I was listening to some of your classmates and they were saying like, oh no, yeah, we went to a cemetery and they started saying, if there's someone there, please knock the door or ring a bell. I was like, my gosh, you're so brave to do that. I would never had done that. And there, I also heard that from a partner here that she was mentioning that she imagined that she listened to a whisper, but it wasn't. I mean, it was logically explained by something else. I mean, it was just like the wind. But well, it's okay. Great, excellent. Thank you, Leslie. So
Teacher,
yeah, Alday.
and have you ever seen a ghost?
I know. I think I haven't. I mean, this is not a ghost, but I remember that when my grandfather passed away. I mean, I love him. I love him really much, and his death affected me a lot. I used to cry a lot, but well, I remember that once, well, several. I mean, it wasn't once. I mean, several times when I was a kid, I dreamed about him, and I mean, I felt that dream so real that every time that woke up again, I was like extremely disturbed. I was like, I don't know, like not calm. Like I was in a state, in a moodiness. But I mean, it's not exactly a ghost, but I think that though some dreams feel really like realistic, you know. But wow,
Yeah,
like seeing it. No, I haven't. Fortunately.
even some people said that the ghost touched them, and
Okay.
and I don't know, it's something crazy.
Wow, that ghosts can be touchable. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I mean, no, I don't want that ghost touch me. I mean, I would cry or run literally. But wow, thank you. I see that you are like really into this topic. Most of you talk about like these experiences. That's great, guys. But guess what? I like you to do the following activity. Okay, you're going to listen and continue what I say. Okay, we're going to do it in this order. Okay, I'm going to type here in the chat the order that you will continue with the story, okay? So it's Isa, Aldair, Enrique, Leslie, Javier, no, Liliana, I'm sorry, and Luis, okay? This is the order, and Michelle, I'm sorry, okay? So pay attention. We're going to do some, I beg your pardon, Les?
Sorry, teacher.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I mean, we're going to do the following, okay? Once upon a time, there was a werewolf who needed blood. Isa, continue with the story.
But the only thing that can be an objecticle uh of the blood that he wanted, it was that the only person who can bring bring it to him was his partner, his wife.
Uh, okay, Aldair, continue with the story.
Teacher, I'm sorry, but I didn't listen because
Okay, the once upon a time, there was a werewolf who needed blood. Okay, then Isa said that the only person who could bring this blood to him was his wife.
blood. Did you say blood?
Yeah, blood, like the one that is
Blood.
through your vein.
Uh, 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 mm,
That you could say, and then a Martian appeared and destroy the world. I don't know, something like that, okay? You need to be very creative. This what I did with Aysen and Laid is exactly what you need to do, okay? But now this is a real one. That was just an example, Laid, okay? Now let's do the real one, okay?
okay.
Listen, Isa starts, then Laid, okay? And then Enrique, Leslie, Javier, and so on, okay? So it says like this, okay, Isa? It was a dark and stormy night. Isa.
It's my turn again?
Yeah, because now this is the real one.
Oh,
It was
okay. What
dark
was
and
the
stormy
beginning?
night.
What was the beginning?
It was a dark and stormy night.
In the forest. Yeah, let
Okay.
me think about it. It's because it's my brother here with me. I'm sorry. Was dark and stormy and stormy night in a dark and huge um, house in the forest.
And later.
Um, and then and then mm, Pie Grande appeared
Okay, beautiful.
and he started to make some cupcakes. I don't know.
Hey, thank you. Michelle.
And then the cupcakes explode.
Excellent. Mhm.
And but it was confetti.
Okay, great. Luis, it was confetti in it, the cupcakes. Okay.
It's my turn.
Yeah,
my
it
turn?
is.
Ah.
It is.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I'm moving the order, but yeah.
Ah, okay. Okay. Oh, I don't know.
Like inside the cupcakes were confetti.
Um, I don't know. I don't
And
know. I don't know.
yeah, okay, you ran out of ideas. It's okay, don't worry. Enrique, why don't you help us here? What happened then?
Okay. Okay. When in the light of the moon, in the light of the moon,
Uh-huh.
the human Jake turned into a wolf. But when the moon goes down, Jake becomes a human again. So
Okay. Uh-huh.
Jake, today we have the moonlight. So
Mhm.
now he's preparing the cupcakes, becoming in a wolf. And he's going to share all the cupcakes with his classmates, no classmates, with his friends, with us.
Great. Wow, that was so deep, interesting. Thank you, Enrique. Well, we're going to stop there. It was a nice activity, guys. But now, guess what? I like you to do the following activity with me. I'm going to explain you the process. We're going to do a DICTOGLOSS, okay? So please pay attention. The first thing that you need to do is listen actively, okay? I don't want you to be checking your cell phones or taking notes. I mean, just listen to the story first. Then the second time that I read again or I dictate the story, you need to take some notes, okay? About the phrases, about the words, about, those things. And finally, we're going to compare what you wrote. So listen, I'm going to read a story and I'd like you to pay attention, okay? The first time you only listen and then you will take some notes the second time, okay? So let's go with the first time, okay? Just listen, listen. It was a dark and stormy night. The wind was whistling through the trees and the rain was pouring down. Not only was I completely soaking wet, but also my teeth were chattering because of the icy wind. I knocked on the door of a nation-run down mansion as hard as I could. Little did I know the horror that awaited me on the other side of the door. No sooner had I ceased my knocking than the door swung slowly open. The darkness of the other side was pitch black, but so desperate was I to get out of the storm that I jumped inside without a second thought. Hardly had I set the foot inside the house when the door slammed shut behind me. Okay, so that was just the first time. Okay, it was exposed that, well, expected that you only listen to the story. Okay, now I'm going to read it again and I like you to take notes. I mean, take notes of the phrases or words that caught more your attention or that you think that are more relevant. I don't want you to copy everything, no, because you're not translators and interpreters from the United Nations. No, I just want you to take notes about words and phrases. Okay, so let's get started. I will go a bit slower. Okay, it was a dark and stormy night. The wind was whistling through the trees and the rain was pouring down. Not only was I completely soaking wet, but also my teeth were chattering because of the icy wind. I knocked on the door of the ancient rundown mansion as hard as I could. Little did I know the horror that awaited me on the other side of the door. No sooner had I ceased my knocking when the door swung slowly open. The darkness on the other side was pitch black, but so desperate I was to get out of the storm that I jumped inside without a second thought. Hardly had I set foot inside the house when the door slammed shut behind me. Okay, so well, this was the last time, okay, in which you had to listen to the story. And well, I'd like you to do the following, okay? I'm going to call out some people that didn't participate the last time so we can check what you got, okay? Lily, yeah, Lily and then Javier. Lily, what was the story about?
It was about dark and stormy night when I don't know, I think it was a man who was like soaking wet and need some place to stay until the rain stops.
Yeah, exactly. Good job. That was a good beginning. And then what happened, Javi? That person needed a place to stay because he was soaking wet. Then
Yeah,
what
that,
happened?
that person found a big and strange mansion,
Uh-huh.
and he or she, I don't know, proceed to knock the door, and the person was thinking about just to have a shelter in order to get out from the storm. And suddenly the door was open very slow, and he can see the darkness inside of the house. He entered without thinking about it, and when he entered, the door go closed. The door was closed behind him, and something strange happened there. I don't know what happened.
That's what happened. That's the strange thing is that the door was slammed. Um, yeah, excellent. Wow, I'm really impressed, Javi. It was so detailed. I mean, good job. You have a good memory, and I think you have a good taste for literacy. Excellent.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah, I'm so proud of you. Good job. Okay, guys, so guess what? Now here comes your time to write your own story. It could be a little one. I mean, I don't want you to type like a whole chapter from a book, but well, this is what you're going to do, okay? Following the same style, okay? Maybe you could be using not the same story, but with different characters or something. I'd like you to do the following activity. We're going to have a story lab, okay? A story lab is the following, okay? You're going to write your own story using elements from the one before. You could be using a haunted house, a stormy and dark night, I don't know, like bats, vampires, werewolves, whatever you want, okay? Even zombies if you want, okay? So I want you to check your notes. I want you to write 100-word new story. It could be an 80 or even a 50. I just want you to use, okay, vocabulary and words like once upon a time or there was, or, you know, and try to be creative as possible. Let me erase this because this is not intended here. Okay, here you're going to find your names, okay? For example, here is Isas, here is Aldair's, okay? Then we have Enrique, Michelle, Leslie, Lily, and so on, okay? So for this activity, to type your own story, okay? I will give you only 6 minutes, okay? And then we check, okay? So it's 7:34. At 7:40, we check your answers, okay? And if you can't join the link that I have sent you, you can type it in the chat, and I copy it in the document, okay? So I will give you 6 minutes, okay? Start. Thank you. You can turn off your cameras if you want more, you know, imagination and privacy for this process, okay? I don't have a problem. Please, guys, do that, okay? I have sent the link into the Zoom chat and also in the WhatsApp group, okay? I love when Enrique gave his part in the story. Like I turned on into a werewolf. That was interesting.
Sorry, Jake.
Yeah.
I don't understand the exercise. I suppose it's a right and story, but for work team, and I don't I didn't assist yesterday, and I don't know what is the notes or the specific types of the
No, I
story.
mean, you didn't need anything from a lesson before. I mean, that's why in the last exercise, if you remember, I asked you to take notes about the phrases, about the words that you listened. That's why I told you the first time you only listen. The second time you need to take notes. That's what notes mean in the instructions, but you don't need like anything from last classes. You only need to type your story. That's it. You could
For
you could have used-
what theme? The same theme of the last exercise about the dark night.
yeah, I mean, I
like
told
that,
you,
and ghosts or something.
yes, I told you when we started doing this exercise that it could have been something similar to the story that you listened to, or you could have used different characters, a different story, or using Once Upon a Time, but changing the direction. I mean, the only thing that I am asking you to do is a story lab, but following the horror or the gender of the story. That's all. Okay. Like this one, like Isaac. I'm going to read it. Okay. It says, once upon a time in a dark and
I'm
huge
not
forest.
finished yet.
Don't worry. A couple were lost between the trees. They ran out of food and water, and they didn't know where to go. Then they saw a little child. She was like a 8 years old girl with a long white dress and little pushly bear. She was passed out in the cold forest grass. My gosh. The couple was very worried about her the time they saw her. And then, I mean,
I'm not
that's all.
finished yet.
But it was a good story. I'm proud of you. Good job, Isa. Let's see, Elias. Okay, I know that you're not done yet. Once upon a time, there was a child that he wanted to fly to impress a girl because he liked her. Once a bird appeared and the bird gave him wings, but then when the child showed her wings to the girl, she just made it fun of him. He learned an important lesson, never do something. And then, okay. That's not exactly a horror story I like, but I like the moral from it. That was a good one. Oh, okay. I see something interesting here. Leslie, during the cold winter holidays, a well-known journalist traveled to a small distant island that was known for their beautiful landscapes. He went to learn about the history of the very few villagers that were forgotten by the world. During this day, he saw a big torn down mansion that seemed like it didn't belong there. While he was trying to enter and explore the house, a villager stopped him, telling him that it was better not to go in there. Right. My gosh, good storytellers. Okay, what about this one? Lily, once upon a time in a cold Halloween night, a group of kids were walking down the street. There was an old dark mansion. The kids were scared, but they wanted to have more candies. The more they get close to the mansion, they were feeling more scared. Oh, suddenly? Sounds great. I like that one. Then Enrique, let me check. In a beach town, a woman cries every night near to the downtown. The people say this woman is crying woman of Playa del Carmen, but she cries for her dog sons. They died after the municipal canal. Ah, okay, interesting. I don't know why, but your story, Enrique, reminds me a Mana song. The one that's the crazy lady from the what was the name of this? Oh, but yeah, good, Enrique. Okay. If you haven't finished, don't worry. I'm going to give you a couple minutes more, okay? But before you finish, because I see that some of you are still editing and drafting your story, okay? I'd like you to stop a little because you're going to continue it, but with more information. Here's the original. If you could go back to Zoom, that would be nice, guys. Thank you. Okay, here's the original story that I read you about in the last stage of the class, okay? So it says, it was a dark and stormy night. The wind was whistling through the trees and the rain was pouring down. Not only was I completely soaking wet, but also my teeth were chattering because of the icy wind. I knocked on the door of the ancient run-down mansion as hard as I could. Little did I know the horror that awaited me on the other side of the door. No sooner had I ceased my knocking than the door swung slowly open. The darkness of the other side was pitch black, but so desperate was I to get out of the storm that I jumped inside without a second thought. Hardly had I set foot inside the house when the door slammed shut behind me. Okay, so well, that was like a story. I mean that it's not finished, but in the end of the day, it's part of the horror, right? Now, if you were enough, you know, paying attention to the story, you notice something. They were inversions in the text. And what an inversion is, we're going to do the following. I like you to do this. It says, substitute the phrases in bold for other simple words so that the meaning is the same, okay? So if you want to write it in your notebooks, that would be nice. If you don't want to write it and just like in your mind and telling it, it's okay. I just want you to substitute the phrases involved for other simple words, but they had the same meaning, okay? In the end, I want the same meaning in the sentence, but changing the phrases, okay? Instead of not only was I, try to say it that, but in a simpler way. How could you do that? Or no sooner had I ceased my knocking. Is there a volunteer who'd like to share how you could say these two sentences with simpler words? No.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand well.
Okay. Try to say the same, but with simpler words. Great. Okay. I'll push you a bit, okay? The way that these expressions are said in a simpler way is this one. I wasn't only completely soaking wet, or I had no sooner ceased my knocking. So let's compare them, okay? Let's compare them. Not only was I, or no sooner had I. I wasn't only, I had no sooner. So if you notice, like there's only a change. I mean, you move the subject to the beginning, and then we move a little bit the auxiliaries and the expressions. But in the end, it's the same. I mean, it's the same content, but with the different order that, of course, give us different sense, okay? Like sense, because in meaning, it's basically the same, but it's you know, increased by something. And that we're going to talk about today, inversions, okay? Inversions. Not only was I completely soaking wet, no sooner had I ceased my knocking. My first question to you guys is, what do you think the writer decided to use the phrases involved instead of simpler language? What do you think that? I mean, they are correct. I'm not asking you if they are correct or incorrect, because they are. Why do you think the writer decided to use the phrases involved instead of simpler language? Alair.
To make history more important.
Important.
Or
Maybe exciting.
more, how do you say, more interesting?
Interesting, entertaining. Great, I like that. To make something more engaging, to make something more exciting. Excellent. That's a good point. Very good, Alair. What else, guys? No.
To make it more dramatic.
Yeah, that was the one that I was looking for. Excellent. Okay, so that's the first point. We use inversions when we want to add a dramatic tone to something, okay? A dramatic tone to something, or to emphasize on a fact, okay? Because in literacy, inversions are really, really, really used. Mostly in old books, like in Romeo and Juliet, well, from Shakespeare, Hamlet, all that stuff. inversions are easily found on them, okay? But also in trials, but also when you want to, you know, show off, that's the way you're going to do it with inversions, okay? And now, what effect does these expressions have on the reader, like us, like reading it? Okay, we interpreted it like, wow, it's really dramatic, it's exciting, and actually it gave us, okay, it gave us like the paces between the story, okay? If you notice here, when you read it, it doesn't matter if it is aloud or in your mind, it changes the way you read it, okay? Not only was I completely soaking wet, okay? It's like, not only was Liliana eating in my classroom, but she was checking her social media and not paying attention to me, okay? That's something that a parent would tell you. It's also to you know, call out someone else. It's really dramatic. So well, inversions, as you see, they change like the sense of something. It's more dramatic, it's more exciting, and it gave us like more engaging to the story. Like, no sooner had I seen it, or so desperate was I, hardly had I, okay? Those are like some examples of inversions. And here's the form, okay? Not only was I completely soaking wet, and no sooner had I, they share the same formula, okay? Of course, first goes the inversion phrase. In this case would be not only, not only, or no sooner, not only, no sooner, or hardly, or barely. And then guys, what it comes? Not only was what's next?
In order to change it?
No,
Or
I
no?
mean, in order to complement the formula, we have the
Okay.
inversion. The inversion is not only, okay, that's the inversion phrase. Then what it comes? Was and had, what is that?
Verb.
Not exactly. Because in this case it's ceased and soaking. These are the verbs, but these ones are the okay. Auxiliaries, okay, the auxiliaries. We need first the inversion phrase, not only, no sooner, then the auxiliaries, was and had, then, this is easy.
Subject.
Exactly, the subject. And finally,
verb.
exactly, the verb, okay? So if you want to take a screenshot, that will be nice. It will help you a lot, okay? This is a way that we make an inversion. First of all, we need the inversion phrase. That could be not only, no sooner, barely, little, and more, okay?
Sorry.
Yeah.
What is the meaning of the smile?
It's a subject.
Okay. I don't understand. Thank you.
Yeah, don't worry, Liz. Yeah, it's a subject. It's a subject. And I'm going to type it. I'm going to type it. Subject. That one. Good question. Good question, Luis. Okay. So not only and not sooner. Not only and not sooner are the inversion phrases. Then we need an auxiliary. That it's something that I like to highlight. The auxiliaries depends on what you want to express. Not only was I, it's a statement about the past. Not only have I, it's an experience. Like, yeah, I'm a citizen from the world. Not only have I gone to all the continents, but also I have a house in each country of it. Like, of course, I'm creating a story that is not true, but what I am trying to tell you is that inversions can be conjugated in any tense, okay? In past, in future, in past perfect, in present perfect, okay? But it depends what you want to say, okay? It depends what you want to say and well, the direction of it. But well, basically inversions are commonly used in past or in present perfect, okay? Now, of course, you need to use it and not to know how to join it in a real sentence. So I like you to read the following. Read, okay? Listen. It says, not only was I completely soaking wet. Listen.
Not only was I completely soaking wet.
Okay. If you notice, we join the final T with the O because there's a catenation process there. We join the consonant sound with the vowel sound. Not only. We don't say not only. No, not only. And then we join the last sound of the S with the I. Was I. Not only was I. Not only was I completely soaking wet. So that's something important. You need to join the last sound of the consonant with the other one of the vowel. Not only was I. Now together, not only was I. And when you need to put more stress or more intonation is in the content words, like only, then the auxiliary, and of course, well, here it depends on the content of the sentence. But in this one is not only was I completely soaking wet. And if you notice the intonation patterns, okay, it goes up, then goes down, okay? Not only was I completely soaking wet, and there you need to add like but or however or although whatever. So it goes up and then the intonation goes down. Not only was I, etc., and then it goes down. And here's another example that is the same.
No sooner had I ceased my knocking.
Okay, so again, you need to join the last sound of the consonant. Had I. No sooner had I. No sooner had I. That, by the way, no sooner means tan pronto. No sooner had I ceased my knocking, it stopped the rain, for example. So, well, that is the purpose of an inversion. And here in this video, you will see some examples in real life. Okay, so please, guys, pay attention.
Not only did she turn down a lucrative and successful career in movies to perform in his little theater, but she actually supplied Charlie with a loan early on to help out.
That was the last time I ever saw her. She warned me, and I didn't listen. Had I listened, I would not have made the mistakes I made.
This is my favorite one. Listen.
Not only does the cinematographer prepare the meals for the crew and cast, it is also the cinematographer who knocks on your trailer door to let you know that it is time to get to the set to create magic.
Okay. Well, these are the inversions, okay? And like I told you, they can be used in any grammatical tense. For example, in this first case, we have an inversion in the past. Not only did she turn down a lucrative, etc. And in the second case is an inversion, but in conditional. This is a conditional. This is a conditional, a second conditional, by the way. Instead of saying, if I had listened, I wouldn't have made the mistake that I made. Okay, for example, that could be like the normal way. But in this one, if you remember the video, it was a guy who said that the last time that he saw a girl, I think it was his wife. In this sense, he's saying like this and not like the normal one, like we know, because it's a regret. He wants to sound more dramatic, like he wants to give a different sense to the conditional. Okay, had I listened, okay, it's like if you were saying if I, instead of saying if I, you can say had I listened, I wouldn't have made the mistakes that I made. Okay, and in this one, you're looking at a clear example that you don't need to only use inversions with present perfect or with past. You can use them also in the present tense. Not only does the cinematographer prepare the meal for the crew and blah, 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 etc. No? I mean, you can use them in past, in present, in future, even in conditionals. Of course, we're going to study more the topic of conditionals. That's a single topic, but well, it's important that you know that. And well, here are some examples using not only, like not only are vampires afraid of crosses, but also garlic. Or not only the werewolf have sharp teeth, but also long claws. Or not only would I recommend calling the police, but I also could run away as fast as I could. Okay. Now here in not only, it's like not only, I mean, not only this thing, but also, okay? So if you notice, there's always a but complementing the previous idea. Not only has Enrique copied in the exam, but also he stole my wallet. What a bad student, you know? Of course, he didn't that, okay? He didn't do that. But well, it's example, you know? That's the example with not only. And well, as a homework, I like you to do the following sentences. These are 6. I want you to do inversions with them. You need to express the same idea, but using inversions, okay? That's what I want, okay? So, well, let's do, what time is it? Oh no, it's 8 o'clock, okay? So, well, I will give you this as homework. The inversion is already there, okay? This is the inversion phrase, hardly, and then you continue with the formula that I gave you, okay? Remember, we need to add the inversion phrase, then the auxiliary, then the subject, and then the verb, okay? For example, let's start with the first one, okay? It says, I had just opened the door when the monster appeared. Harley, what? Okay, that's inversion. Then, Harley.
Open the door? No, Harley I. No.
There's something missing. There's something missing. Inversion.
The auxiliary is the same.
Yes.
Is had?
Yes, Luis. Perfect. Continue. Continue, Luis. Harley had.
I.
Yes.
And is in the same sentence, open?
Exactly. Open
the door.
Exactly.
And what is the connect with the monster appear? When or what?
No, when.
Okay.
Great. Excellent, Luis. Okay. Hardly had I opened the door when the monster appeared. Perfect. Okay. Good job. That was a good one. Excellent, Luis. I'm proud of you. Okay. So that's what you need to do. Okay. You need to insert the auxiliary. No. I'm sorry. Let me change it because that was horrible. Auxiliary. That's the first thing. Then the subject. Okay. And then the verb. Okay. And that's how you make an inversion. Okay. Auxiliary, subject, and the verb. So that's your homework, guys. I just want you to do the same with number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. And well, when you finish, please send me a photograph or maybe a message. It could be good if you don't want to write it down in private, and I will send you back a feedback like, yes, it's correct or it's not, and that's all. Okay. So thank you, guys. This will be all for today. Okay. You can send me your homework today and tomorrow until 4 p.m. Okay. And we will see you again. See you on Monday. Okay. Have a good weekend, all you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. See you guys. See you. Good night.